Hey everybody, it's Andy. Coach is like 30 seconds late today. But don't let that fool you. I am full of juice, ready to help you build a career you love. Got a bunch of people in the house. Get in, say hi. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what you do. Let me know what you need. Put some question marks in front of your questions so I can find them. And if you're in one of my programs, let me know. Use a hashtag. Say hi. If you are in my illustrious VIP program, give me a VIP hashtag too. So great to see everybody. Give me a second. I'm using a different software product today that I kind of like. And I see Jay Morris. Okay, wait, let's hang on. Moment of truth. I just got a package dropped off and my dogs didn't bark. It's because my boy dog's going a little deaf, which makes me sad. But we got Jay Morris up, and I'm able to put your questions up. So, Jay Morris, great to have you. And let me see, how would you address? We're getting right in with the questions. I got things to tell you, but get settled in. Let's get right going now. Jay Morris, how would you address a non-compete if a job opportunity was with a company that would be considered a competitor? So, Jay, this happens a lot, obviously. There's lots of non-competes out there that, certain industries have them more than others, especially when you're in, the financial industry, sometimes the technology industry, those kinds of things. But when you ask, how would I address a non-compete, usually what happens is if you're in an interviewing process, and the company is used to having people or interview people who do have non-competes, they'll often ask them up front if they have one. Sometimes, and that goes both directions, right? You might have a non-compete from your original employment agreement, the one you are vacating, and they might want to be, the new employer might want you to sign a non-compete coming in. That's typical. In fact, all your employment agreements have some form of this. So, the way that I approach it is if there are specific organizations that are named within my current company's or my most recent company's non-compete, I usually avoid those companies. If it talks about, in generalities, industry-specific organizations, I usually ignore those because arguments can be made that this is not truly a competitor. Those kinds of things are very difficult to prove and usually exhausting, and most employers, will not put up the fight. So that's the way I approach it. And then if an organization that I'm going to wants me to sign something, I'm happy to do that as long as there's no egregious clauses in it or anything of that nature. So I know your question was kind of open-ended. I hope I got that one. If I didn't, shoot down to the bottom, let me know, and we will get that taken care of for you. All right, what do we see here? I got Mike Elliott. Andy, how do I get recruiters to notice me? And what should I change in my LinkedIn profile to filter jobs better? The based on your profile jobs are below my experience levels. Thanks. That's 2 questions, Mike. Couple things here. I do have a video out there about how to get noticed on LinkedIn. I'm not going to go into any of the details because that thing is a work of art as far as what goes on in LinkedIn, how the algorithm works, what you should do from a static and a dynamic nature to get noticed. Just go watch that. How to get noticed on LinkedIn. That's the exact title of the video. If you are changing your profile to filter the jobs better, I would not bother. Here's you have 2 sides of this one. This question is a fantastic one. You got 2 sides here. You've got when people find you or what you would like to attract from somebody who's looking on LinkedIn, and then you have LinkedIn's automation, which is sending you references, referrals to jobs. I wouldn't even bother with those. I would be more concerned about putting a beautiful LinkedIn profile together that portrays me in the light I want to be portrayed and invites the people that I would want to invite to find me. Just focus on those 2 goals. And if you watch the How to Get Noticed on LinkedIn video, I will address those. I would not be worried about LinkedIn and what jobs. Do you know that LinkedIn the other day sent me an executive admin job that I might be interested in. Okay, just to give you an idea of how ridiculous its algorithm is. I mean, why would they think that I would have that? I get ones about being a system engineer, probably because I had an engineering undergraduate 30 years ago. So I would not be worried about LinkedIn's recommendations to you. So just keep that in mind. So okay, I see. Okay, so I'm getting used to this software. I like it. I really do. I got some little things and bubbles and stuff going on. Looks like there's about 100 of you. Let me just make sure I'm in order here. Okay, can we all give Stacy Gilmore a shout out? She's got a blue wrench. I think Kara's here with me today. I didn't check. Kara, if you're here, I hope you say hello. Hang on, let me scroll down. I don't see her just yet. Maybe she's here, maybe she's not. I don't know. She's probably doing something brilliant for us, though, that I can assure you. All right, so if you are in my community, you all are in my community. If you are in the Mile Walk Academy community as a member who has paid for something, let's put it that way, you'll notice we're getting a lot more active in the Facebook group and the LinkedIn group. Those are private. We just had a Tuesday, some announcements and a coaching session a couple days ago. If you're interested in getting in that, the most inexpensive way to get into the official Mile Walk Academy group is you got two options that are super cheap. The Interview Intervention book, which I give away free, and the Outer Reach But Insight book, which I give away free, and the ebooks and the audiobooks and some other stuff. If you pay $7 for materials and handling to get it to your house anywhere in the world. This is the cheapest way to get into the Mile Walk Academy, get all that extra coaching, get all that extra goodness, get the private communities and all that good stuff. So check that out. Jason Garrity, great talking to you the other day. I hope that session we had really helped. Adam Stark. Let's get this one up and so we can see it. Hey, Andy, do you have any advice on pushing yourself to do tasks when you don't feel like doing them, as well as reducing procrastination? I hope yourself and the community are well. Yes, that's Ginger. I don't know what she's barking at in the background, Adam. Sorry to interrupt your... she's probably barking at a bird. But my advice when I don't want to... So first of all, I'm assuming that you are talking about tasks that you have no control over, but that are given to you by your employer. Because those are the only ones I want to cover. Because if you're inviting tasks in your life and you don't want to do them, then don't invite them. So I'm assuming that this is a task that you all have at work that you don't have a choice to do. When I'm faced with that task, and I hope Stacy and Kara are paying attention to this, and even I do things that I don't love. But before I'm about to do the task, there's a couple of things that I ask myself to get myself ready to go and dive in to do them. The way that I know that I have to do them at any moment in time is they're on my calendar. I've planned for them. And if something is invited onto my calendar unexpectedly, then so be it. But usually I know that at 2 o'clock, I've got to do something. If it's something that I'm not loving, what I do before I start the task is I ask myself, all right, number one, how can I do this task and make it better? Meaning, make it more efficient, make it more fun, do it in a better environment, whatever it is, right? If you're going to have a tough conversation, you're putting it off, go to a coffee shop. Do something to brighten it up. If it's an activity that you've been doing over and over again, it's kind of mundane, I try to figure out a way to make it better. Is there a process? Is there a system? We do things at the Mile Walk Academy that I don't think are all that great. I love writing social media content for you guys, but none of the three of us like posting it because it's a mechanical act. But we know it gives you value, and so we have to look at ways to do that. That's just an example of a task that is not so fun for us. The joy is in the message you get, but mechanically scheduling it with the tools that constantly seem to break on us and all that good stuff. So are there ways we can make the messages better? Are there more efficient ways we can go about it? Is there a way we can make it more fun? Can we do a little investigation to see how we can improve it? All those kind of things. So I always try. So it's my long-winded way of saying that I always try to realize the maximum growth and enjoyment out of anything that you got to do. And if you're talking about tasks that you have in your workday, I guarantee you can find more joy and more growth from them than you probably are. And your growth is going to go down if you're not looking forward to doing them, or if you're just dreading them. So that's what I do. I hope that helps. It's an attitude thing. It really is. So good luck with that. Alexander Lelou, I'm not sure I know that name. I'm relatively new to watching your stuff, but even less than a month, man, hold on. I'm going to put this up. Look at this handsome guy. Alexander, hey, Andy, I'm relatively new to watching your stuff, but even less than a month into watching your videos and following your guidelines, my job hunting has been improving immensely. Thank you, sir. You are welcome. Great to have you. Good to see you. There you go, Alexander. You don't just learn at the Mile Walk Academy. You become famous because your picture is now forever on YouTube where everybody can see it. All right, Tiago, how are you? Great to have you. And let's give Alex a twofer here, Alexander. Do you have any recommendations for people who are trying to get into the writing field? You recently graduated with your MA, but all my experience has been freelance. How can help me get a salary? So the way that I would approach this, so you got a degree, right? You got some freelance experience. It's like breaking into anything, and the place I can help you the most is I do have, I know this is your kind of an entry position, but I would look at my career changer playlist, because if you're trying to break into a field, that's going to have a lot of suggestions for how you market the experience that you do have, how you draw parallels from what you've done in the past to how it applies to what it is that you want to do. If you've got some freelance work, you've got writing skills and so forth, that applies. Here's a great example. Stacy, who is new to our team, she has worked in the nonprofit sector, which is wholly different than the training and education and influencer sector, but she had a lot of experience in helping grow communities, market content, and all this other stuff that she's done in the past. And we looked for ways that what she did in her past applied to what we're doing here. So the possibilities are out there for you. It's a matter of how you market yourself. But I would look at my Career Changer playlist. I take you through a sequence of stuff that you can do. For maybe let me tack this on. One announcement: January is a fantastic time to look for work. I've put a video out a couple of weeks ago about some insider tips. Alexander, you should definitely check that out. And anybody who missed it, if I had to guess, I'm going to say I put it out on January 7th, because I think that was the first Tuesday of the month, and I wanted that video to go out first about the changes that you need to make as you search in January. But one of the other really important elements in that video was the fact that a lot of organizations right now are looking to add resources to their teams, and they are a lot more flexible about who they hire at this moment because they're looking for versatile resources. So companies are a little bit more open-minded at this moment. And so I would try to take advantage of that. So Alexander, if you haven't seen that video, that's going to have a lot of insight. And then one of the other announcements that I wanted to make is, because January is such a rich month for you job seekers, my job search boot camp is on special all month until January 31st. And on January 31st, we start a 4-week run of live coaching sessions. I endearingly call it my boot camp blitz. But the boot camp is available, the job search boot camp is available to you all year round, but 4 times a year, every month we have coaching sessions, private coaching sessions for our boot campers. But 4 times a year we do it, we dedicate an entire month to those sessions where you can join me every single week. And Alexander, the one of the reasons I think it's important for somebody like you is there's an entire Career Changer module, but it's also the same type of steps that I would go through if I was a recent college graduate. And I identify the 4 different stages of changing careers. It's the same kind of thing for you. 4 different stages for how you plan your career, how you break into a field that you do not have experience in, all this other stuff. There's 12 steps that you go through that are aligned to these 4 different stages of your evolution to make it into the places that you want. So that's something that I would I would check out as well. So I hope that helps. And for everybody else, just want you to be on alert that the boot camp is available. All right. Kyle Williams. Yes, he is one of our beloved VIPs who is highly dedicated, and we love him. Fen. Hey, Andy, I have sent out a few boss hunting emails and nobody gets back to me. Shall I follow up, and how often shall I do that? So let me take this opportunity to answer. Well, I answer your question, but I also want to talk about something else that I would recommend that you guys take advantage of that's going to be free, and it's going to be starting next week. So, Fen, couple things to answer your question specifically. When you send a boss hunting cover letter, and if for all of you out there that doesn't know what Fen's talking about, I have a boss hunting technique that I recommend. It would be the technique that I would use 90% of the time if I was job searching. Check that video out. Just type boss hunting on my YouTube channel and you'll find it. Actually, just type boss hunting in Google and you'll find it. But what I would do is I would send a message, a boss hunting message via email, and I would track it to see if somebody opened it, what they did with it, if they forwarded it, and so forth. There are tools that are out there that you can use for that. If somebody opened it, I would give them 7 full days to reply to me. If somebody didn't open it, if I didn't get a tickler back that said, hey, Andy opened the email, I would probably send them a LinkedIn in-mail. Maybe use a different route. Maybe their inbox is just very full. Maybe they're not paying attention to their emails. Maybe they don't open any emails that are not from certain parties or whatever. But I would wait 7 days. I would always wait 7 days in these instances throughout the year. Now, in January, where things are a little bit more hyper, and there's a little more action going on, I might trim that a few days, maybe down to 5 days, calendar days that is, but I would reach out. Now, I don't know why they're not responding, so they may not be seeing the email. They might look at the email and your resume might not be very effective. It might be very effective. They just might not be interested in hiring somebody at the moment. I don't know. I did go through, so in my job search boot camp, there is a separate entire program that I created called the Job Search Challenge. It's 5 modules. If you are interested in the boot camp, you get this Job Search Challenge, which basically takes you through what the challenge is, all the key activities of the challenge, and one of the key activities of the challenge is to actually send out messages like the boss hunting cover letter. But in the Job Search Challenge and in the Job Search Bootcamp, I have networking templates, 10 different templates that I've copywritten for you. But the other sweet thing about the challenge is the final module of the challenge helps you overcome all the different problems you're going to encounter in the challenge. This is problem number 1, people don't get back to you. So what do you do? So there's not only how should you handle all of this, but also how should you troubleshoot. I did a whole section on how to troubleshoot what might be wrong. Are you targeting the right person? What's the copy look like? And all that good stuff. So I don't think you're in the boot camp, but it might be something that anybody who's struggling, that wants to invest in themselves and wants to learn those tactics at the deepest level, it's all in there, and I take you through it. So it's something to consider. And then, you asked about, shall I follow up and how often? So usually I wait a week. Then if I don't hear back from them, I wait another 2 weeks. And if they don't get back to me, now what you've spent, right? You've spent about 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Then I let it go. That's 3 touch points, right? The initial message, 7 days later, and 14 days later. If they haven't gotten back to you within 21 days, I let it go, and I don't worry about it anymore. And a big part of that job search challenge is the fact that you are doing this on a day in and day out basis, so your outreach is very consistent. In a span of 21 days, you might have contacted more than 60 different individuals at 60 different companies. I'm not going to care if somebody I contacted 21 days ago got back to me. And that's a big part of your conditioning, your confidence, what we call BIDAs, balls in the air, right? When you got a lot of stuff going, if something falls off the table, you don't really worry about it as much. But if you're pinning your hopes on that one email you sent out or that one job interview you got, what do we call that? Putting all your eggs in one basket. So I wouldn't recommend that. So I hope that helps. I mean, the program is very effective. So if you are on the fence, check it out. And one other thing that I want to mention for FenFen is we have a job interview mastery workshop, which is starting on Tuesday. It runs Tuesday, Thursday. The first session is on job interview prep. The second session is on answering job interview questions. The third session is on asking your job interview sessions. And the fourth session is on follow-ups. So I know you asked about following up as you're targeting somebody, but this is going to be about all your interview follow-up as well. So I hope that helps. I think I forgot to put that up on the screen, but I got through that pretty thoroughly. Okay, wait. So that I don't forget, my friend Uzoma, how are you, my friend? All right, hey Andy, I got a rejection email from my interview yesterday from their HR person, but I emailed a thank you to my interviewer and got a courtesy response. Who should I ask for interview feedback? So, couple of things, even though you didn't ask me this question, I want everybody to know that anytime you go to a job interview and you get a rejection after you've interviewed, I want to be crystal clear. I'm talking about the example Uzoma gave here, where he went on an interview. I'm not talking about I sent my resume in and I got a rejection email where I hadn't talked to anybody, or the applicant tracking system auto-bunged me, or the HR person responded and said thanks but no thanks. If you go through an interviewing process and you do not get the job, I have a video out there called How to Get the Job After Being Rejected. If I get the rejection contact, meaning an email that rejects me, which is totally cold, I mean cold as in cool in nature, or I get a phone call where they say thanks but no thanks, we chose somebody else, or you didn't fit, or whatever, I immediately send the message that I gave you in that video, how to get the job after being rejected. It's a quasi-combo, conflated, if you want to call it, thank you email and cover letter that you package together. I articulate it in the video. You can transcribe it there and send that, and it is a way of making sure that you tack down and you go out with some class, you leave the door open, and you leave the door open for you to follow up, say 30 days later, because a lot of stuff goes wrong in between the time they reject you and 30 days later. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, because you got an email, you got a courtesy response from the HR person, I would go back to if you're asking for interview feedback, you go back to the person who is your handler. Okay, so whoever that is, if that's a recruiter, if that's the HR person, if that's the hiring official, or whatever. But when you ask for your feedback, this is a very, very important point I'm about to make. I would not be spending a lot of time trying to solicit feedback about how you can improve yourself or things that you need to do to grow. Okay? I'm not interested in any of that. I'm not interested in any of that feedback from somebody who talked to me for 10 minutes, okay? Not to mention, they're often not going to be truthful with you. The feedback that you are looking for is why you didn't fit, why they chose somebody else, what was the delta. Now, it might be that they said, well, we wish you had more experience in this. That's fine. I'm okay with that. And that's fine. If you want to go out and get that experience, that's great. It might be, hey, we like you, but we chose somebody whose skills were a little bit better, or a little more aligned, or somebody who had a little more of this or a little more of that, or hey, fact of the matter is, boss didn't like you, or they didn't think you'd fit in well with the culture. That's fine. All of that. I want to know the gap why they didn't hire me. I don't want to know what they think I can improve as a professional or anything like that. And all too often, people look for that. And companies are not going to extend that to you. So you want to make sure that you are asking for feedback if they are willing to offer it. And the last thing I want to say about the feedback is I would not sweat that, because a lot of things can happen from a miscommunication standpoint. What you are trying to get to help yourself grow is not as a professional, but as an interviewer. Okay, I want to make that distinct point. You're looking to grow as an interviewer, not as a professional. If you want to learn how to grow as a professional, seek that counsel elsewhere. Seek it with your employer, seek it with a coach, those kinds of things. Do not try to get that feedback from somebody who interviewed you. What you want to recognize is, did I not articulate myself very clearly? It's those kinds of things that you're looking for. How can I say that better in an interview? Okay, that's really what you're looking for. I hope that helps. All right, all right. Hang on, just checking something here. All right. Stacy Miller, first live chat. You know, I know this is not a question, but can we all, I'm putting you up there anyway because I'm a little happy with these things. Can we all give Stacy Miller from Wisconsin, I'm assuming you're a Green Bay Packer fan, so good luck this weekend. I'm not a Green Bay Packer fan, as you can imagine, being from Chicago. But can we all give her a good live, big live office hours high five? Stacy, great to have you. Joe Winter from Louisville, happy Thursday to you. Chrissy A., my first time going live and writing a resume. This should be great. Oh, wait, you know what? Because you have a dog in there. I think that's a dog. I'm putting you up. Chrissy A., great to have you. All right. We got another one from Alexander here. Let me see if I can get you up here. Oops, sorry. Alexander. Hey, Andy, when you're making a connection and networking with other professionals, what kinds of things should you ask or talk about? People talk about a lot of things about building a rapport, but how? Okay, Alexander, I got a whole job search networking playlist out there. Go check that out. That is a big open field, and I've got lots of stuff out there for you. It's pretty effective. And I see you got another one. You're networking with people you're really interested in. I've got a video out there. Got another one. Say, for example, actually, this one I want to point you to something. I'm trying to network with people in a company I'm really interested in, and they return my initial connection. How can I keep the ball rolling? Check out my video on, I can't remember what the title is. Oh, man. I have a video out there. Let me think about this. And it's about how to get a job, a tip about how to get a job when you want to target a company, but you don't really have any connections there. There's a whole video out there, and if Stacy or Kara can find it, please put it in the chat. But Alexander, I know it's out there. It's but it has to do with how you can build your connections at your target company, and I can't remember what the dang title is. Hey, cut me some slack. I got like 300 videos out there. All right, hope that helps. All right, Ryan Jones coming up next. Couple quick announcements. Let me see. Where's my list? We've got a goal-setting success webcast tomorrow. It's live. It's only. Oh no, I'm gonna have to put this. It's on my Zoom platform. If you want the goal-setting success workbook that I've created, so it's a follow along. I'm going to take you through all the goal setting, how to do 2020, all that cool stuff. I've got a worksheet for you with the work. It's a multi-page goal setting worksheet that if you opt into this, if you sign up for this program, you will get that. We've had like over 4,000 people sign up for this, and we only have room for 500 in our Zoom platform. So I would say get in. You will at a minimum get the workbook, and secondly, I would show up early. But sign up for that. It's going to be a hell of a time. So I wanted to let you know that. All right, here we go. And Ryan Jones, hey to you. What is that? Is that a Boston? What is that? It's hard to tell. A little Boston Terrier. All right, Ryan Jones. How long should I wait after the phone screen before following up with a company? Ryan, I would come to my job interview mastery workshop, and that session's going to be on Thursday, January 30th, but I know you don't want to wait that long for the answer. So first thing that I would do, always ask. There's 3 questions you got to have answered at the end of every interview. What are the next steps? When will I know that? When will you contact me by? And who will call me? Those three things. If you don't get that information after your interview, you don't know when to follow up. So when you're on the phone, when you're in the office, whether you're on the Skype session or whatever you're doing, what's the next steps? When am I going to know by? And who's going to let me know that? All three of those got to be answered. And if they say something like, I'm not sure what the next step is, I'm not sure how long it's going to take, then you start giving them what ifs, right? Okay, what would be the next step if you decide that I'm going to move forward? Okay, usually how long does that take, right? That kind of stuff. And then that determines when you should follow up, because somebody might say, we should know in a day or so. If they say we should know in a day or so, you give them a day or so, and then a day or so, and then you follow up. If they say we'll know in a week, you give them 10 days. If they say we're not sure it's Monday, over the next 2 weeks we're going to be interviewing, you give them a call the following Monday, right? The following Monday after the 2 weeks. It's always different. You never know when you should follow up. If they gave you no indication, I would call right now, and I would email them and say, hey, I'm really excited. I'm wondering when you might, know about the next steps. So that's what I would do there, my friend. Hope that helps. All right, Impatience 1. Do you think you could compile a book of success stories as inspiration? You could make anonymous the people and get their permission to use their names. I know it would benefit. I would benefit enormously. So, interestingly, we have several hundreds of success stories, and I'm pretty sure we have thousands and thousands of success stories. It's just that people don't always circle back to me. It is a great idea, and we do capture these in snippets, and I share them with you in snippets. And one of the things that I would like to do at some point throughout the year is maybe have some of those people tell their stories and do some collaborations with people that are in my job search boot camp or my leadership monthly live program and those kind of things. But it's a great idea. Impatience 1, thank you for that. Diana Dembski, hey, Melanie. Okay, how are you? Oh, Melanie's a boot camper. Hey, Andy, are some sites better than others to apply to a listing that appears on multiple sites? This is a fantastic company. Okay, such as choosing the less popular site to apply on. Okay, so Mel, this is a, you know what? I don't know if Kara's here, but dare I say, I don't think I've ever gotten this question. I really don't. So because I know you. And you're a senior person. So for all senior people, the first thing is I recommend that you never use the sites and that you always look for an alternate route. So boss hunting, networking, any which way. I would even target the HR people or the recruiters. You could recruiter hunt. And I'm talking about corporate recruiters, that is. So my pecking order would be network your way in through the boss hunting or a referral or something like that. If you can't find the boss, go after the HR people or the recruiters. If you cannot absolutely find anybody to get you into the organization, and I would find that hard to believe that you couldn't unless it's a small company, then I would probably go with the site that was more popular. I don't know why I'm telling you to do that. I'm just guessing that that's probably better. But I don't have any statistical data for that. But I think it's a phenomenal question, and I think it's one that we probably ought to look into a little more. For a lot of you that are out there, this is not specific to Melanie, but you'll notice that I do have videos on how to get past the applicant tracking system and all that good stuff. But if you look at the distribution of the recommendations and the videos and the things that I have out there, you'll notice a small pile of those that talk about the applicant tracking system, and you'll notice a huge heaping pile of those that talk about how to network, how to target people, and how to even apply when there's no job opening and those kind of things. And there's a reason for that. This side over here, you've got about a 3% chance of being noticed, not even that you get the job. So you got 100 submittals of resumes. Usually 3 in 100 make it through to somebody's eyeballs through any which way, whether it's the filtering of the applicant tracking system, the overwhelm of the number of resumes, the priorities that gyrate, and so forth. There's many reasons for that. You statistically have an 8% chance of actually finding your next job. And I would use finding in quotes here, because if you have a LinkedIn profile setup that is well built out, we did a data capturing over many years for more than 12,000 people, and 1,000 of them or so had gotten their job because somebody contacted them on LinkedIn when they weren't even looking. Imagine that, 8%. You have an 8% chance of finding or getting your next job because you have a good LinkedIn profile. You have a 3% chance of getting noticed by putting your resume into an applicant tracking system, and some small fraction of that of getting your job that way. Wrap your mind around those numbers. Okay, so there's a reason that we spend a lot of time with this other stuff and networking and building out a good LinkedIn profile and things like that. I do have videos out there on best ways to get past the applicant tracking system or to overcome the ATS and those kind of things. I've given you some tools and techniques there. And if you are in the boot camp, in the job search boot camp, we give you a very detailed resume submittal checklist that not only makes sure that you've got a wonderful resume, but that you also are checking all the boxes in how it will pass the applicant tracking system. We go into a lot of depth in that. That is not anything that's out in the public domain. That is not anything that will ever be out in the public domain to that level of detail. But that's something you should look at. And Melanie, before I let you go, I would grab that. It's in Module 2. It's the resume submittal checklist. It's the boot camp version. It'll say that all on top. It's in the boot camp, but grab that. And if you can't find any of that, talk to me tomorrow when I see you. All right. Hope that helps. Great looking picture there, kiddo. All right, Steve G, how are you? Happy Thursday to you. And I guess speaking of, let's see. Let me pop this one up. And I'm not sure how to say your name, if it's Nushbu. I hope that is. You can always correct me if I didn't get that right. For a new immigrant who's completely raw and new to country, how to network on LinkedIn or even in person, you always fear that you don't know how things work here and will be a bother to unknown. Okay, so I'm assuming, I don't know if you mean in the United States. One thing I would point you to is same kind of thing. I have a lot of job search networking videos on my YouTube channel, Job Search Networking. Look at my job search playlist, search for networking on my YouTube channel. I go through tons of different tactics for you to actually build a network and target individuals at employers that you want to go. Because if you are looking now I want to make a distinction here. I'm assuming that you're job searching. So I would network a particular way if I was job searching. I also have a video on my YouTube channel about building professional relationships and how to build professional relationships. I believe it's called Business Networking, How to Build Professional Relationships. I think that's the title of the video. That is in how do you build your network in an ongoing basis throughout your career. And I give you all my tactics for that. So that's out there as well. But I would not be shy. I don't believe you are in my job search boot camp, but if that is something you're considering, we not only show you how to do all that, I give you all the sample copywriting. So basically, I write the letters for you, the networking letters for you. And that's something that you can have if you're in the program. And the Job Search Challenge, that's a sub-program in the Job Search Bootcamp, would be really helpful. So a lot of you are asking me about the networking and the different fundamentals of networking. I've talked a lot about this. The videos are out there for you to learn all my tactics. So I hope you check those out. Hope that helps. Kathy M, how you doing? In Dallas now. And Melanie, oh, here we go. Let's put her back up. Also, are you recommending that no matter what, if I can find the hiring official's email or connection in that we apply that way instead or both online and contact the person? This is the pecking order. If I can get to the boss or anybody I think is the boss or the boss's boss or anybody who runs the unit, I'm going after that person first and only. That's one. Second, if that person doesn't get back to me, 7 days later, I'm going after them again. Didn't do anything else yet. If that person gets back to me and says, hey, Melanie, thank you for reaching out to me. Can you please put your resume in the applicant tracking system or apply through our portal? Then I put it through the portal. And then at that time, I say, thank you for that. I will be happy to do that. By the way, can you let me know who the human resources person or recruiter is who's in charge of managing this position? I would just like to follow up with them in a week or so just to make sure that they've had a chance to review my resume. You could even say, you know how these systems are, whatever. That's what I would do. And then if I couldn't find the boss, or if I sent them to the boss didn't get back to me, 7 days later, I contact him or her again. If they don't get back to me within another 7 days, I'm probably trying to, at that point, contact a human resources person or the recruiter. I would never go to the applicant tracking system, ever. I don't even know that I would look at them other than to find intel on whether the company is hiring in those areas, growing in those areas, and so forth. We're going to talk about this in the workshop next week. Actually, we're going to talk about this on Tuesday. For anybody who's signed up to the Job Interview Mastery Workshop, we are going to be talking about how to look at the career portal and what you should be looking for. And it's not just the job description, but I would be doing investigation. If I exhausted all of those avenues and I was still totally dead-ended, then I would submit my resume and through the applicant tracking system, and I would only submit it through the applicant tracking system or through a board like an Indeed or a Hot Jobs or Yahoo or Monster or Career Builder or whatever. I would only submit that after I went through the resume submittal checklist that you have. And so that's the pecking order. So that's what I mean there. Great follow-up. All right. Maybe that is the Mike Elliott, All right, Chrissy A. Hey, if you guys, all right, we're down, 11:43. If you are loving this, you 146 of you that are here, click the little thumbs up, click the little thumbs up button on, oh yeah, I see somebody click the thumbs down button. I now can actually see this stuff, which I always find funny. But yeah, click the like button, share it, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I talked about this. I do my best. I show up every week for you guys, and then every day I answer my YouTube comments. I answer first the comments in the Mile Walk Academy system where they're paying members that get the support. Then I go to my YouTube channel, and on the YouTube channel I look for all the comments, and if you really want to know, I've never said this. I have filters on my YouTube channel that screen out anybody who swears, uses certain F words, other things, and I look to see if I have to approve any of those. And then what I do is I say, okay, anybody who's subscribed to me, who has a question for me, who I have not responded to yet. And then it shows me all those. And then I rarely get through all of those. And then if I do, then I go to the ones who are not subscribed. So make sure to subscribe and make sure to click the like button. It's kind of funny. Okay. Let me see. All right. Chrissy A. Cute puppy. I have worked at same physical job over 29 years, and it's hard to pack all the things into 2 paragraphs and 2 sentences. You don't need to pack it all into 2 paragraphs and 2 sentences. You need to pack it into 2 pages. Now, if you are referring to the career profile where I recommend 2 paragraphs. So I'm guessing that, Chrissy, that's what you're referring to. And so the first thing is at the top, the first paragraph and the second paragraph are highlights of you rolled up. So you could say, in whatever you did, I'm a senior, whatever, with 30 years experience supporting or working at or whatever, whatever type of company it is. And so that's what you're trying to roll up into two paragraphs. So I would check out, I have a video out there on how to write the perfect career profile, and it will show you that it's an aggregation of your work experience. So check that out. You don't need to wrap your whole work experience of 30 years into two paragraphs. All right, quick announcement. I mentioned we've got a goal setting success webcast tomorrow. Hopefully Stacy has popped out that link. That's tomorrow. Next week, starting on Tuesday, we've got a job interview mastery workshop, 4 parts. The workbook is phenomenal for that. Well, for both of them. But the job interview mastery workbook is it's got a place for you to take notes for all 4 sessions. And then in the back, there's 4 pages of checklists for prepping for your interview, how to ask your questions, how to answer your questions. All your following up is in there. I put it in there for you. It's awesome. All you got to do is register, and hopefully you can show up. I've had like 5,000 people sign up for that one, and make sure you show up because we got room for 500 people. So sign up, but you'll at least get that stuff. But next Friday, so a week from tomorrow, I have a leadership monthly live program. It's a live session that I do once a month with people in my leadership mentoring program. It's on perseverance in achieving success, right? We're all going to encounter challenges. How do we overcome? It's a theme that I'm piggybacking on top of this whole goal setting theme of January. It's a great time, right? December and January, where we're looking at our goals for the upcoming year. We're reflecting on the past year. How do we make sure that we're setting the right goals and we're persevering through those challenges? That's what the main topic is about. Everybody gets a very detailed workbook with not only the write-up of what I'm sharing and all my approach on this, but also you get these thought provokers that help you think through the lesson, and you also get a challenge for the month of how to work the lesson to make sure that you can ingrain it. It's really great stuff. That's Friday the 24th, and if you get in by Sunday, this coming up Sunday, I've got a special running where you can get my Career Accelerator program for free. That's if you get in on the monthly option, because it's a pay by the month or pay by the year. And if you get in on the annual option, you can get the Career Accelerator program and my Goal Setting Masterclass, and those are $400 and $200 respectively, but you can have them free. So check that stuff out. And Harley is saying hello because he's waltzing from his sunbathing to his probably to his bed behind me. Hang on. There we go. All right. Great to see you, Steve. Chrissy, Sarasota, Florida. I was just in Clearwater and had a meetup in December. Bob, how are you? Darius, my boot camper. Dean, first time live. Let's give Dean a holler. Let me see. Hang on. I'm getting some slacks here. Give me a second. Okay. Susan Kelly, how are you? Vince, hey, from Wisconsin. Oh. Jorge. Hang on. Jorge, you got a twofer? Look at this guy. Let's see if I can get this in here. God, dude. All right. First one says, how should I follow up with my targeted company when my connection at that company instructed me to submit my app through the ATS, but the ATS says that my app is no longer under consideration? First off, that's no friend of yours. So your connection, I would ignore your connection. That's what I would do. That's not helping you, right? So forget that. Bypass all that crap and go to whoever you can boss hunt. So that's on that one. And then this one, how should I follow up? Oh, hang on. I think you posted it twice. All right, so let's take that off. But that's what I would do. I would not go through the applicant tracking system. And if your friend or connection tells you to do that, they're being lazy. I mean, they can't tap somebody on the shoulder or get you a name that you can target or whatever. That's my view. They're not helping you. Tom in Seattle, great. Great to have you. 2020 is going to be a stellar year. All right, Dean. Beginning a new company search, what is your recommended order of tasks going into this? Perhaps first and most, 3, 4, 5 to get it going. I'm going to give you the tasks in the order in which I built them in my job search boot camp. So I'm going to combine this answer with a little advertisement here. First thing is I do some self-awareness and self-reflection exercises. I figure out who I want to be, why I want to be it. I make sure that I'm going to be successful in it and all that good stuff. And I identify all of my requirements and the things that drive my happiness and the things that need to be in place. Then what I do is I also identify different questions that I would need to ask the employers or myself or the market if I'm going to change careers or I'm evaluating careers. If I'm evaluating careers, I have to know if I want to be a coach, a trainer, an online speaker, or whatever. That's different than I'm a salesperson and I am a salesperson at this company and I want to be a salesperson at another company, so I'm just changing companies, but I'm keeping my job the same. If I'm keeping my job the same, which most of you are doing, you're just looking for a new employer, then I would identify all the questions that align to those requirements. So if I need a collaborative environment and that's something that makes me happy, what are the questions I'm going to ask to elicit information to know that the employer is collaborative and can satisfy what it is that I need? Those are all the first things I would do. That's module 1. Second thing I would do is I would align my resume to where I want to go. Now, I understand many of you think your resume is about your past. I don't think that at all. I think the resume is articulated in a manner that takes the things that you've done, packages them in a manner that allows you to go out to get to where you want to go. Okay? And you articulate that in a manner that aligns with where you're going, not where you've been, even if you're just changing jobs. So I put the resume together, I write my static base cover letters, meaning I'm going to have letters if I don't know if there's an opening, if I do know there's an opening, if I'm targeting somebody and so forth. All that stuff's been written in the boot camp for you. I make sure my LinkedIn profile's in order. The next thing that I do is I do what I like to call the job search challenge, but I bring myself to market. There's various things that I would do, but it would involve a heavy dose of networking, contacting people. I would be thinking about who I'm going to contact, thinking about how I'm going to contact them, contacting them, following up with them, meeting with them on the phone, in person, whatever it is. All that's the kind of the third major step. Then I'd go in and I'd interview, right? And you got to do all your interviewing. Then I'd negotiate my salary and those kinds of things. That's assuming that you are looking just for a new company and not a new career. So Dean, I hope that helps. And that's a little, an idea for all of you to know, kind of what's in the job search boot camp as well. Hope that helped. Oh, Shanty, hey. My boot camper, how you doing? What details employers get when they do work experience background on a candidate? I'm assuming you mean a background check. What if I say a contract job was a full-time? Well, don't do that. So when you have an employer do a background check, there's several different ways that they can do that. Hold on, let me take a sip. There's different ways employers can do a background check. So first thing is they can have a company do it. Wait, sip of this. Hey, I'm like all over the place today. Can I help you? I love that. I love this cup. They can have a company do it, in which case they have systems that run background checks like they run credit checks and things of that nature. It literally works the same way. Some companies pay for those, and then they run it, and if you said I was on a contract, or if it says it was a contract job, or you say it was full-time or vice versa, that background check is going to yield the difference. It will know whether you were an employee or whether you were a contractor. You want to make sure you're consistent and you're accurate and you're telling the truth. The other thing that companies do is sometimes they just have somebody call. So literally, like the recruiter or the HR person, or if it's a very large company, usually they're paying for those services, but if they aren't paying for those services, they have somebody that does those, and they'll literally call They'll call Mile Walk and they'll say, did so-and-so work here? And then I'm allowed to say, yes, he worked here as an employee from February of 2016 to February 2019 or whatever it is. And he served in that capacity. That's really it. That's you're limited to what can be shared. Otherwise, you can open yourself up to a lawsuit. But ultimately, for you, you should just make sure that you are accurately reflecting it on the resume. So if you were heavily involved in the company as a contractor, you could say, PepsiCo, whatever, did project management, blah, 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 served as contractor to support. Something like that, if you don't want to put contractor in the title. The alternative is if you are, and by the way, this, I go into, you have access to this in the boot camp where I have all the specialty situations. So for somebody who is a longtime contractor, how to lay that out in your on your resume, and I would just refer you to that supplemental module session in module 2 where we talk about all the resume, cover letter, LinkedIn stuff. I would refer to that if you've been a long-time contractor of how I would package all that. So Shanti, hope that helps you. And can we, Mom, could we look at this? I mean, how many coaches out there, their mom comes to all their sessions? How great is that? And you know what? My guess is if Dad's not out to lunch with some friends, he might be sitting behind Mom there, or maybe he's in the kitchen and Mom's in her room on her computer. But love you, Mom. You should put your picture up there so everybody can see Miss Amelia. BP Pro Photo, my boot camper, who's that? Hey, Amir. Oh, man. Boot camper and leader. And Rochelle, how are you? You've been a great attendee over the last, I guess, at least month, maybe longer. Great to have you. All right. Let's see. I think I know where this one's going. My lap. Hey, Andy, I used your interview tips for an interview last week, except that I did not know how to answer the weakness question because the recruiter first had me undergo a 16 personality test and half. Oh, that's 1 of 2. Hang on, look at this. How awesome is this? I was told to pick a weakness from the list of results. How should that have been answered? So, I'm going to tell you this. The 16 different personalities, you're probably talking about like a Myers-Briggs if you're a, INFJ or ENTP or whatever you might be. I'm not going to go into all that stuff. If you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, you can look up Myers-Briggs or whatever. There's a number of them. With the weakness, this is how I would approach it. I have a video out there on the best answer to what's your biggest weakness. I would go watch that video, and I would pick of the 16 that they're, if you had to pick from a list of the results, you pick something that you feel was your weakness that is not in alignment with what you need to do for the role. That's important. So that's gonna be a big key. But I would say go watch my biggest weakness video, and then if you had to pick from a list, if you're ever put on the spot like that, you pick from something that you feel is your biggest weakness that is not related to your ability to effectively do the role. That's what I would do if I was cornered like that. Hope that helps. KKL, my boot camper. How you doing, Kelly? All right, hang on. 11:59. All right, let me see if I can get this one in here. And Bob, I am a 10-year Desert Storm veteran and currently have 20 years of production management. How would I include my veteran commitment in my career profile? That's fantastic. So if you were a 10-year Desert Storm veteran and have 20 years of production management, I'm not sure if you have 30 years total or if you did some of that while you were, in Desert Storm. I don't know if you were in the field capacity or if you were in a backfield capacity or what it might have been. But any which way, the way I would look at that is it's okay to say I have 20 years of experience 10 serving, or 20 years in production management, 10 as a military veteran, and so forth. That's okay to put in your career profile. I mean, there's no problem whatsoever. If you are trying to, if you want your military experience to be more of an afterthought, some want it to be front and center, some want to try to minimize it and show more experience as a civilian professional, that's okay too. If that's the case, then I would put, served 10 years in the military, in Desert Storm, so on and so forth, as the last sentence in my career profile. But the one thing that I would recommend that you do is you go to my blog and you type military veteran in my blog so that you get the free booklet that I have that helps you if you are transitioning. I obviously I don't know the whole setup there, and I don't know. Desert Storm was a while back, obviously, but I'm assuming that was the case, and it sounds like you're already a civilian professional. And if that's the case, then I don't think you need the booklet. I think you need all the other stuff that I put out there. But thank you, Bob, for your service. That's pretty awesome. All right, couple quick announcements really quick. Tomorrow, goal setting webcast. You can still register. You can register right up till showtime at 11 o'clock. But like I said, I don't know how many people are there's more than 4,000. That I know because I looked a couple days ago and there was that many. So make sure to show up early. The waiting room opens at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time tomorrow. I'm going to be teaching my butt off for like an hour and a half. I don't know how long the thing is. And then we'll do some Q&A. Next week, sign up for the Job Interview Mastery Workshop. 4 days, Tuesday, Thursday, all at 11 Central. You'll get a great workbook. I'll give you the workbook right away. And so you'll have it for the Tuesday start. We are doing that. We're doing both of those on the Zoom platform, so make sure to register for that. Next Friday, my Leadership Monthly program. We're doing Perseverance in Achieving Success. And then the following week, those 2 days, Tuesday, Thursday, we're doing the interview workshop. And then on Friday, January 31st, I have a Job Search Bootcamp private session. So if you got any questions, you know where to find us at support@milewalk.com. Please hit the thumbs up button, share this video, which will be out on YouTube, and I will see some of you tomorrow, and I'll see a bunch of you on Tuesday and Thursday and Friday and Tuesday and Thursday and Friday. So you guys be good. Have a great one. See you soon.